Good morning, good evening, and good day. Thank you so much for watching Attack Power Gaming. Today, I'm going to tell you how not to suck in Steel Division 2. Let's dive right in. All right, here we are. We're going to go over some basic tips and tricks, things that are going to get you right into this game and avoid you making some of the biggest noob mistakes that you can make in Steel Division 2. Now, this has nothing to do with deck building. This is none of the stuff that goes on before the game. This is simply, in game, what are some things you want to avoid doing? What are some things that make it obvious that you're new at the game? And what can you do to avoid those? Because a lot of those are really, really easy. And by doing them, you will improve very, very quickly. If you guys enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe for more Steel Division 2 content and strategy game content. All right, so first things first, when you open the game, usually there's a little box here that says manual or auto deploy. You want to choose manual. Do not let the computer auto deploy for you. It's really dumb. It will not do a good job of it. It's just going to be bad. Over on the right here, you can click to see what your opponent is playing and what their income is in such. So you definitely want to do that so you actually know what you're playing against. You don't want to just be going into it blind here. This really should just automatically be open, but it's not. Now, the first most important thing to know is the hotkeys. In other words, on your keyboard, what do the buttons do? If you don't, you're obviously not going to get very far, and your micro is going to be incredibly slow. You really don't want to be down here clicking on different buttons. That takes way too long and it's just not going to allow you to play really quickly. So, of course, you have your WASD and all that kind of stuff. You have your fast move, which is F. The probably most important one is Q, which is your attack move, which means your troops will move and stop and shoot whatever they see. Y is the move fast and then unload at a location. And then J is the move fast and attack move. So you have those different ones. U is unload. Those are the main ones. We'll run some other. E is stop. C is the line of sight tool. You can see the line of sight tool, seeing different things there. All right, so make sure you learn those. That's definitely step one. Now, when deploying, it is incredibly important that you set up all your troops on a road. Okay, we do not want troops over here in the grass because they will move incredibly slow compared to putting them on a road. So when I deploy here, I'm literally going to go like this and put them all smushed up as far as I can right up against this, all on the road here. You can see they're all on the road. That way they'll move as fast as possible. Another thing, you saw me deploy a whole bunch of troops just now. If you hold down shift, when you click on this, you can keep clicking. You can also multi-click on a unit, but again, I want them to be on the road, so that's not helping me all that much. But deploying on a road, incredibly important. Do not deploy in these like open areas in between. You're just going to have to learn what the fastest road route is to your location, because that's how you're going to get there. So once you deploy your troop, so you have your troop here, you select them. Actually, if you have more than one troop, as long as they're in the same transport, if you press tab, you will tab through them. So you see the selection going through there on the bottom. So down here, you can see me selecting through. So if you click tab, you can give separate orders to these guys. Now, if I have different transports, so we can see our different units. So we can see I have two of these Hosodoks and one Reitjäger, but the key thing is they're in different transports. When I press tab, it's going to choose this one first, and then it's going to choose both of these. So you can only cycle through based on unit type. So like literal like transport or unit, like if there's a tank here or something. So, if it was like, if I got rid of this, well, I just clicked on it, so it just gives me that one. So if shift click, there we go. Shift click to get rid of one. Now when I tab through, it'll just tab through like normal. So nice little way to speed up your deployment. Okay, now when you want to give them orders, okay, I have my dude selected. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to give them the order. I'm going to do the fast unload. You'll see it's green and it shows that order right there. If you want your orders to be shown, come down here, click this little arrow button. I personally think it's really smart to have this on because misclicks happen, and what this allows you to do is see where your troops are ordered to go. So, when you find Benny the soldier like across the map or walking across an open field, you know that you did that and it wasn't the game being stupid. So make sure that you do that. One more tip before the game actually starts here. Make sure right when the game starts, like right when you get into this, okay, hit the launch button and then hit it again really fast. What that will do is if your opponent tries to rush you and make you start the game sooner than you want, this will set the timer at 3 minutes instead of 30 seconds. So you'll have a lot of time to make up for whatever you didn't finish. So just a nice little tip, especially for newer players trying to get deployment down. We'll be right back once we're all deployed here. All right, here we are. I'm all set up and everything. If we zoom in here really quick, you can see just like everything is piled on the road. All right, I want all these guys on the road as much as I can so that they'll get to their locations fast. So we can see the different types of orders here. Green are the fast unload ones. This like dotted one is the fast attack, which is the J, and then the blue is just a fast move. Okay, so those are the different ones. Notice one thing I'm never doing is clicking on my unit and just right clicking like that. What's going to happen is this unit's going to try to drive a straight line to this point, and it's not going to use any roads. It's not going to use any of the fastest modes of transportation possible. This is incredibly slow, incredibly inefficient, and you should almost never actually just straight right click something. There is an option in the option menu also to just change right click to attack move. I don't do it only because I'm now used to hitting the attack move button, and it would definitely hardcore mess with my 1,000 hours of micro. But if you are still getting used to the game, it might be helpful to just change that right click button into the attack move. So we hit launch. Game begins. We see our guys zipping forward here. And again, they're going to follow rows. So you see how all the orders kind of change. They were straight lines, but then they switch to whatever they're actually going to do, which is hopefully, if you're using your orders correctly, following those roads. Now you notice all my troops are going to some sort of cover. They're either going to a building, so infantry can of course go into buildings, that's where they get their maximum cover bonus, or they're deploying on the edge of the forest to go in there. Remember, vehicles cannot go in the green forest. You see the different colors of my mouse here? So I have green, I have yellow, and I have gray. All right, gray is no cover, green is heavy cover, and yellow is light cover. Your vehicles can go into light cover. They can go on gray or they can go on yellow. Your infantry are the only things, and support weapons, infantry support weapons, basically non-vehicular things, are unable to go into green forest. So when your troops are in green forest, you can be quite sure that they are very safe. So you can see me using Q move here. Even though it's unlikely I'm going to run into anyone, it's still just a habit that I'm using that Q move there. Now, of course, we are playing the AI. The AI is good to get used to the game. It is not good to long-term play the AI. It's really not that difficult. If you can't beat the AI, then there's no way you're beating a human player. But eventually, you're going to want to like get out of just playing AI, because the AI does get really boring. Like, it's the same thing over and over again. The AI simply spams. Okay, we can see my units dying to the PTRS here. That's fine. Okay, PTRSs don't fully kill your units anymore. And then I'm going to attack move into this town and put them into buildings to give them that max cover that we're always looking for. Okay, see my other troops coming on their fast move and all of that good stuff. So let's see all my troops going into cover. Cover, 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 cover. Okay. Even this vehicle, I'm going to move into cover now that I've put him into the position I like. We're going to try to put him in cover. Cover gives you two things. It gives you, obviously, cover, so your troops take reduced damage. You obviously want reduced damage. Reduced damage is good. But almost more importantly is that it gives them stealth. When your troops have stealth, they're harder to spot, so your opponent will not be able to shoot them with long-range weapons, and they're a little bit safer. Now, when giving orders, if you hold the shift button and then click again, it will stack the orders like this. So you can see I'm, like, stacking orders so they'll go to a place and then keep going to the next place. This is a really important move if you're trying to like send your troops in circles or do other weird things. Now, when you want a plane, you go into plane tab, you buy it, and it shows up here on the bottom. Okay, and then you call it in. When you're done with it, you evac it. Now, if you're a new player, you may have automatic Winchester on. That is when your plane will automatically retreat when it's run out of ammo. Okay, so when your unit has dropped its bombs or whatever it has done, it will automatically retreat. Our opponent here, our computer opponent, using ISU 152s everywhere. Now, my opponent is flying after me. One other mistake many noobs make is what you see me doing here, which is purposely, I'm doing it on purpose, flying over the opponent's area too deep. You do not want to be going way into the opponent's area. Now, recon planes, yeah, I mean, they got to go see stuff. That's kind of what they do. But fighters, bombers, all of these kind of things. So if I called this fighter in here, I'm not going to go chase these LA-5s all the way over the opponent's side. That's a quick way to get your planes killed, and then you're screwed. And honestly, most of the time, it's better just to buy AA. A lot of times, you're just in a better spot if you just buy the AA, try to deny the opponent an area of the map using that AA, and you know, going from there instead of trying to call in a bazillion fighters, because they're expensive. Fighters are expensive. They're 110 points. They die pretty fast. Like they're certainly not like very easy to keep alive, especially when you're new. So you don't want to just be throwing fighters away because you can. Okay, now I'm going to call this fighter on purpose just so we can see how this happens. I'm putting an attack move on. We do not want to head on like I'm about to head on him. You really want to avoid this whenever possible. In this case, I won because I have the better loadout, but now you see me damaged, I'm smoking, and now my plane goes down quite easily. When your plane is smoking, you want to get it out ASAP. That's basically indicating to you that it is about to die, so you need to get it out as soon as possible because it's close to dying. You can manually fly your planes around by clicking them around, so we'll call another fighter here. Okay, and if I call that in down here, okay, when I manually fly him like this, he is actually more maneuverable. He will do better things than if I just click on this LA5 and do this. Now I'm going to do this because I know that he will kill him on this single pass by himself, because that's what they do. And then I hit my evac button. You can see it's going to take some time. You'll see this little bar in the bottom going down. That's how you know how much time you have till the plane actually successfully evacuates from the map. So that's just something to know. It's nice to see that timer go down. A lot of times it's actually better to fly into an opponent's fighter. So if you have a bomber and you have like very good resilience. So if you see resilience there in the stats, it's very good. That's the highest level of resilience. Resilience is how hard it is for something to get shot down. When you have a higher resilience plane, it's actually a lot of times better to fly straight into the fighter and then evac, because then the fighter won't be on your back. The second the fighter gets on the back of your plane, the fighter is likely to die very quickly. So that's why it's really good a lot of times to actually fly straight into it when you're dealing with bombers and stuff. Fighters, you don't really want to do that. You want to maneuver them because they can be maneuvered. There's really no reason not to. Now, when moving my troops forward here, I'm going to use that Q move and not just this, because if I just do this, they're going to keep walking and get shot out in the open, and they will get killed. Now, normally I would not do this, but I'm doing it just for the example here. It's very important that you do that. Now, remember, the point of the game is to capture flags, right? So attacking into areas that have no flags to capture is kind of a waste of time. Like pushing over here is not going to do very much. Like blocking out their reinforcement road. If we zoom out here, we can see where their troops can move in. You know, if your territory reaches their zone, it will take this and you can call your own troops in. But that's really unnecessary. Like when you play the AI, you can definitely do that. You can get away with doing that all the time. The AI is very easy to push back like that. But when you play against real players, this is an extreme overextension and you're going to get crushed somewhere else if you're doing that. So just remember, that is not a very viable strategy in 1v1 or 10v10 or any of those places. It's going to cause you to lose a lot of games. So just be careful with that. A lot of people go too hard to do that. My final tip here is really important, and most people don't do it enough. I'm going to try to get my troops in a position here so that they will get into a spot where I need to do it. Falling back, hitting that R button, another one of the most important hotkeys. When your troops get suppressed, you might as well immediately fall them back. Do not wait. Do not sit there and retreat immediately. See me immediately retreating. What happens is that more than halves the damage that your troops are taking. Like he would have been down to 2 or 3 troops by now. Okay, I'm going to retreat this guy as well. He'd be essentially dead instantly from where he was if I did not immediately retreat him. Since I did though, now he's going to get away with a lot more troops. A lot of people don't fall back because they're like, I don't like which way he's running. Well, it's better that he runs in any direction and maybe doesn't die over just gets absolutely annihilated in whatever spot he's in. So it's really important that you use that fallback button immediately. You may have to do it several times to get him out of range. You can see the Urzat getting away here. It's really important. Hit that fallback button. Too many people wait to hit the fallback button. And remember, tanks cannot hit the fallback button. They will fall back if they get suppressed all the way, but you cannot like hit the fallback button for them, unfortunately. It's infantry only, support weapons as well. You know, anything that infantry are in charge of, whether that be support guns, artillery, AA, whatever it happens to be. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, consider checking out that Patreon down below. Thanks a bunch, guys, and go check out some of those